Good evening, everyone. It is April the 4th, 2024, and we survived this Thursday, which, honest to goodness, there were some, points where I was like, we're never going to get out of traffic jams. Good evening, Wolfram. Thank you for doing the mod stuff and being here this evening. Puzzled Puzzler, hello. Phoenix, welcome, welcome. And yes, it has been a day, but we're closer to Friday. So that works out, right? We have all of the interesting news tonight. I think today was on Extra, getting us all the crazy newsy news. Our first story, and look, I'm just saying, if any of this happened to fall out near my house, I would struggle with being a good, honest person. Good evening, D. Robinson and Audio Coffee. But thieves still steal $30 million from a vault in an Easter heist. It truly is an Easter miracle. He rose in 3 days and they stole 30 million. They both included vaults, I guess. Well, tombs, vaults. Hey, they were observing and their the holiday their own way. And leave without a trace. Cops have no idea how they did it. Well, I mean, they didn't text about it or, TikTok about it yet, so maybe that's how they got away with it. In a heist of biblical proportion, thieves pilfered about $30 million in cash from a Los Angeles area vault on Easter Sunday, and no one noticed the empty vault until the next morning. The burglary took place Sunday night at the Garda World facility in uh, Simler, which handles cash for several businesses in the area, sources told Eyewitness News. Oh, you are totally fine, Tammy. I hope you're feeling a little better. And welcome, Cool Gamer. Hey, Squid Pro Quo. Welcome to the party. And also, how could you not notice? I mean, I would hope that there will be cameras there. I hope they would have at least a skeleton crew on Easter, but you know, who knows? The thieves were so stealthy that the safe showed no signs of a break in from the outside, and operators of the business were none the wiser until they opened it on Monday, the Los Angeles Times said. Welcome, HT. You know, you'd think that they'd maybe notice the big old hole. The thieves accessed the facility through the roof and managed to avoid setting off any alarms when they got into the money storage area. Officials familiar with the investigation told Eyewitness News. Footage on of the facility on Wednesday showed what appeared to be a gaping hole in the side of the building with a pile of debris next to it, though it's unclear if the damage stemmed from the break-in, the outlet said. Very few people would have known how much cash was stored at the nondescript facility, the LA Times noted. The elaborate scheme was likely executed by a crew of seasoned burglars. Ocean's 14 method acting. Welcome, Joyful Joy. And I think I got everyone, but oh, Fisher of Men and John. Good evening. The heist is one of the largest in Los Angeles history and has also outpaced all of the region's armored car thefts. Los Angeles Police Department Commander Elaine Morales confirmed to the outlet. As of Thursday, the incident is still under investigation by both the Los Angeles Police Department and the FBI. The LAPD and Garda World facility did not immediately return the Post's request for comment. The Easter Sunday theft comes nearly 2 years after up to $100 million in jewels and other valuables were taken from an armored big rig at a Grapevine truck stop. The thieves stuffed 20 large bags full of gems in the 27-minute robbery that took place during the driver's nap and meal break. That crime remains unsolved. You know, could it have been an inside job? I mean, I'm not a, professional, I guess, robberologist or Robbler, as my youngest son would say, but, it seemed like you did a little planning with this one and the Bag o' Jewels heist. But that's just me. Also, you'd think someone would notice the big old gaping hole in the side of the building, but again, the article does not say if that was related to the break-in. But, me being just me, I would think you would notice it. And I hope you are feeling better, Fisher of Men. I feel like, our my young, wonderful, well, vectors of diseases might have brought something home because my sinuses are feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Foul play is suspected for the 2 missing Kansas moms. Quote, "They are nowhere to be found." Maybe they just, went I mean, this is a joke, but maybe they just wanted to run away from laundry. Because today was a day. Ooh, I mean, I that's a the rum is something I could deal with. Authorities suspect foul play after 2 Kansas moms traveling in Oklahoma vanished, and the car they were driving was found abandoned in a remote part of the Sooner State's Panhandle. Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly went missing Saturday in a rural part of Texas County near Highway 50 or 95 and Road L. Have we checked, the hills have eyes? I mean, I feel like this might be a feral hillbilly, hill chuck, people of Appalachian descent, whatever you wanna call us, but I feel like this might be a feral mutant hillbilly, like, the start of that kind of movie, because you will not catch me stopping in some remote places after these after watching those movies against my will. But seriously, I hope that they do find these moms because look, you c kiddos need their moms, and I don't want anyone to have to go through something super scary or insanely ridiculous like The Hills Have Eyes. Although whoever invented Hostel, you need help. You need tons of Jesus, okay? I I was forced to watch the first 5 minutes of that, and I was like, "Nope. No. Stop it." So now you know, I don't generally like Saw-like movies. Investigators revealed Wednesday that a more thorough analysis of the circumstances around their disappearance has revealed, quote, evidence of foul play. Butler, 27, and Kelly, 39, were traveling only 16 miles to pick up Butler's 6-year-old daughter and 8-year-old son, who were living with her ex mother in law in Ava, Oklahoma, according to ABC7. But when the women never arrived to pick up the children, Butler's ex husband found the car on the side of the road near a school Butler had graduated from in 2015, according to the report. The car was found 3 miles north of Ava. Kelly, a mother of four herself, was suspected of traveling with Butler to help her with a custody issue, sources familiar with the matter told News Nation on Wednesday. Strangely enough, the schools near where the women went missing and the one Butler had graduated from, Yarborough School, started operating under a lockdown status on Tuesday, according to a Facebook post. Yeah, you combine child custody issues and a person feeling like they needed to take a witness with them. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the outlaws done did it. Allegedly, possibly. But that's just me, and this is wild Mo speculation. This is wild redhead speculation. And welcome, spirit matter. The Texas County Sheriff's Department also issued an endangered missing advisory for the two mothers. The mothers were both members of Hugton's First Christian Church in Kansas and were reported to be more acquaintances than friends, according to News Nation. Kelly, the wife of a preacher and secretary of the community church, was said to regularly participate in volunteer work, including running the children's church programs, according to ABC7. Look, if y'all done screwed up if you tried to take out the baby mama of the children and got a pastor's wife too. Y'all done screwed the pooch because not only are you corroded trash water for taking, you know, potentially taking your kid's parent or their mother away from them because you cannot deal with custody issues. Again, wild speculation. But you done killed a pastor's wife, and you are in the buckle, okay, y'all? Buckle of the Bible Belt. So good luck with that. Now, I hope that these 2 women, I hope that they are wrong and maybe they are just missing, but the way things go here lately, it's probably not gonna be the hills have eyes or mutant hill folk. It's gonna be the, outlaws or in-laws. Her husband, Heath Kelly, previously the pastor of Hugoton, has recently moved to become the new minister at Willow Christian Church in Nebraska. The congregation is asking the community to spread the word about the disappearance and praying that both women are found. Quote, please pray that Jillian and her friend Veronica are safe and that they are found quickly. God, please bring these women home to their families that are so worried about them. The church wrote in a Facebook post Monday. And they look like lovely women. Look, this is not life advice for anyone, but if you are unable to remain in a relationship with, say, the co-parent, you are still in that word is parent. So that means that you suck things up for your kids. You may not like your ex, but you try not to be a total douche nozzle to them, possibly. A friend of Butler's told ABC7 they're hoping the women are found, but understand the odds of finding a missing person dwindle after the first 24 to 48 hours, and those have passed. It's really hard to deal with knowing that someone I've been in contact with since I was 16 years old is missing. It's been really difficult, the source told the outlet. The Oklahoma State Bureau said that they have currently made no arrest after suspecting the mothers of disappearing under suspicious circumstances. There's every reason to believe they could be in danger, Public Information Manager with the Bureau, Hunter McKee, told ABC News Tuesday. It was a very rural area. They're nowhere to be found. The fact that we've had no contact with them for this long. Hello, MLS. I hope you're having a good day. So, unfortunately, I am afraid that this is probably going to be one of the cases that we're going to follow, but it's just very sad when people can't, look, you're not in a relationship with each other because you couldn't stand each other or there was something wrong, but you can be civil to each other for the children. Oh, good lord. Oh, no. In other news, and I'm kind of hoping that look, I know it's gonna be a great thing, and maybe it's just today that I'm kind of in the midst of meh. but if the solar eclipse, path of totality happened to miss my little neck of the woods, so I didn't have to deal with a bunch of absolute insanity that my state has been prepping for about a year and a half, I would totally be okay with it. I know I'm probably the only person on the face of the planet that says that, but I'd be totally okay if it kinda just missed my little area right now because I don't know if it's just my area or all areas in the totality, but we have done lost people are selling parking spaces for $75 and dollars, 75. Now, am I upset that I didn't think about this now that I have 2 long driveways? Yes. Yes, I am. But still, th we're all y'all remember Y2K, and if you don't, you're a little bit young, but this is not a new thing. We get Twitter pated out of our minds about everything. Edge of solar eclipse path of totality may slightly shift, experts warn. Your opportunity to see the Monday's eclipse may have just gotten smaller. A new calculation done by John Irwin, a master in eclipse computations, suggests that the solar eclipse path of totality, where the moon will completely blot out the sun, is actually 600 yards narrower than official NASA projections, meaning if you were planning to watch the eclipse from a place on the edge of the path of totality, you might have an even shorter window. So there you go. Make sure you are not 600 yards away. Some spots will miss out entirely based on this new data. Locales that were expecting to see the total eclipse for a few seconds, like Rome, New York, Effingham, Illinois, and Montreal City's Jardin Park, are now just out of the zone. The change in the 115-mile wide 9,200-mile-long path of totality was first reported by Forbes. I know. I feel like we should launch a complaint with Star Command. Good evening, Slinky. A NASA scientist confirmed that the long-standing official map might not be entirely accurate and advised people right on the edge to travel a mile or so into the zone to guarantee they will see the moon completely obscure the sun. The cause of the discrepancy? Disagreements about how big the sun is. We're gonna need a bigger tape measure, y'all. Calculations that use a slightly larger radius for the size of the sun yield an eclipse path that is slightly narrower. Dr. Michael Kirk, a research scientist in heliophysics science division at NASA's Goddard Space Center, told Thrillist Wednesday. This difference only affects cities on the very edge of the path of totality where blanket predictions are difficult regardless. A few city blocks, one way or the other, could mean 10 or 20, 10, or 0 seconds of totality. The zone of totality could also be slightly impacted by uncertainty in the Earth's rotation, Kirk said. Traveling towards the center of the path of totality, even a mile or two, will quickly increase the length of totality that people can see. Any small nuance in that zone would not affect the vast majority of the estimated 34 million people who are expected to witness the total solar eclipse on Monday. Y'all, I think they are all coming to my town. Many major cities like Dallas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Buffalo are still squarely in the center of the path. Damn it. I mean, yay! And we'll see nearly 4 minutes of complete darkness. Southern parts of the US will actually see a slightly widened path of totality if Irwin's projections are accurate, including San Antonio and Austin, where the Lone State's capital, McKinley Falls State Park, is now suddenly narrowly in the zone. Several hours north from where the zones or from there, zone starts to narrow, squeezing Denton, Texas, and Louisville Lake slightly out of the blackout area. Well, humanity's intelligence is on a bell curve. And, well, we are all brains in some areas and pinkies in some. And that is a pinky statement. As the totality zone snakes northeast, Effingham, Illinois, Crawfordsville, Frankfort, Kokomo, Fort Wayne, Indiana are set to lose a sliver of visibility, as were Canton, Columbus, Cincinnati, Ohio, according to Forbes. In New York's Finger Lake region, small towns of Penn Yan, Dresden, and Romulus were negatively impacted, and the city of Rome is now entirely squeezed out of the zone, projections show. In Canada, parts of Toronto, Montreal, Drummondville, and Lumsden are losing a piece of the once in a lifetime show of the sky. Irwin's collaborator, Luca Quaglia, explained to Forbes he believes their projection is more precise because they used a more accurate measurement of the sun and moon instead of widely used figures that are based on calculations of the sun's size that have been used since the 1800s. Well, dang it, the sun's getting bigger. Measurements and observations in the last decade have demonstrated that the traditional measurement of the sun is slightly too small. Adding, there is evidence that the solar radius has changed over the centuries. He also maintained the jagged edges of the moon's topography, which have now been exactly calculated by NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, would narrowly impact the path of totality. Still, there was no guarantee that the new measurements are completely precise. How far outside the eclipse limits the sun's corona ceases to be visible is anyone's guess. There is no experimental data to go back up any distance. The longest period of darkness in the zone will be in uh, Torreon, Mexico, where the sun will be blocked out for almost 4 minutes and 28 seconds. By the time the eclipse is visible in Lake Placid, New York, the length of totality will have decreased to 3 minutes and 21 seconds. Oh, that's right. There are um, comics, comics, comets that are supposed to be coming soon too. But yeah, I have no idea, you guys. In if you had a little, bit of a rough day, you're not having this rough of a day. Now, I don't know what happened to the plumbing in this particular building, but that's gonna take a one hell of a Mario and Luigi fix. Yes. A wild video shows a torrent of water bursting outside a New York City high rise. Massive explosions of water could be seen shooting out of a Hell's Kitchen high rise Thursday afternoon. Wild video of the incident shows a large burst of water streaming out of the building at West 42nd Street and 8th Avenue before falling onto the street below. The FDNY told the Post Thursday afternoon it was responding to a water leak. You think? I'm, I mean, I'm not a plumber, but it does seem to be a water leak. Here's your sign. No injuries were reported, and by 2 p.m., the problem had been mitigated, the FDNY said. The fire department notified utilities to turn off the water while it worked to stop the leak, it added. It was not immediately clear what building the water was spewing out of. The FDNY could not say what caused the incident. Good lord. Well, from I will back you up. You were nowhere near New York today. We have no idea what happened. Speaking of the eclipse, New York inmates claim it's their religious right to watch the eclipse after state orders prisons locked down. I mean, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. I want to see this work out. Now, why is it part of your religion? I'm sure we're going to get to it. It's a total eclipse of their rights. New York Post, every time I think you're being a little too cheesy with your puns, you bring me right back. You bring me right back. 6 inmates at a New York prison are so eager to catch next week's solar eclipse that they're suing their lockup, claiming the rare spectacle is a quote religious event that they should be allowed to see. The prisoners at Woodburn Correctional Facility argue that the April 8th phenomenon, in which the moon will pass between the sun and the earth, immersing part of the state in darkness in the middle of the afternoon, should, quote, warrant gathering, celebration, worship, and prayer, end quote, their federal lawsuit states. The men include a Baptist, a Muslim, a Seventh day Adventist, and two practitioners of Santeria, even one atheist. This sounds like the beginning of a joke or a really fun debate or a really terrible debate. Interesting. Who have all expressed a sincerely held religious belief that April's solar eclipse is a religious event they must witness and reflect upon to observe their faiths, according to a suit filed Friday. I mean, I I love y'all's optimism, but the legal apparatchiks in this country do not work this quickly. Oh, well, no, it was just it sounds like the beginning of a joke, and then or a really interesting debate, but I love how y'all are stretching all of your disparate religions and non-religion, atheist to make sure that you get to see the eclipse. But state correctional officials have planned a lockdown during the astronomical marvel in a move that would breach the inmates' constitutional rights to practice their religion, the suit alleges. The suit notes that eclipse-like phenomenon is described in the Bible during Jesus's crucifixion and that the Islamic books of worship depict a similar event during the death of the prophet Muhammad's son. Quote, as people with different beliefs come together to observe the eclipse, inc- an incredible phenomenon that holds religious significance for many, we simply ask that prison officials allow our clients their constitutional right to practice their faith. Sharon Steinerman, a senior associate at the White Shoe law firm Alston and Bird, which is representing the prisoners pro bono, told the Post Tuesday. This is y'all, this Stretch Armstrong could not make these stretches. I mean, you're not even getting paid, lawyer woman, but this is okay. But how are you gonna argue the atheist is having a religious experience? I don't know. The lawyers filing the suit are seeking to make it a class action so that impacted inmates in other prisons across the state can join the legal battle. They are now seeking a court order forcing the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision to allow inmates to witness the event. Well, push them, they'll probably allow the inmates to witness the event without glasses. You know, of all of the hills to die on, I don't think this would have been my one. State officials declared last month that they would have a system wide lockdown during the eclipse and that visitors were prohibited from visiting inmates at the prisons in the path of totality when much of upstate is expected to be snarled and trafficked. In traffic, the atheist plaintiff maintains that he received special permission to view the eclipse with state provided protective glasses before the lockdown was announced. Four other plaintiffs said the state denied their request to get religious exemption because officials said the occasion was not considered a holy day in their religions. The main the remaining plaintiffs said the state ignored his request. The DOCCS's spokesperson, Thomas Maley, said the state takes all requests for religious accommodations under consideration, and the eclipse related requests were under review. Daniel Marcello III, the department's acting commissioner, said the solar eclipse safety glasses will be given to staff and inmates who can view the astronomical event, which isn't expected to happen again until 2044 from their work or housing units. There will be no outdoor recreational activities permitted between 2 and 5 p.m. during the period when the moon will eclipse the sun and send much of the state into complete darkness for several minutes around 3:15 p.m. Woodburn in Sullivan County is not near the zone of totality, but many of the maximum and medium security prisons are, including Attica, the home of the deadly 1971 riot, and the Clinton Correctional Facility, where Richard Matt and David Sweat escaped from in 2015. Dear Lord, I y'all, I can't. How in the world it's my right to see the eclipse, I promise, Your Honor. I mean, I I need everyone to explain things to me. And you know what? Students having good ideas, exhausted, hungry, and sleep deprived, UCLA students, supercommuters search for relief. Sophia, oh, I'm just going to call her Sophia's life as a college student revolves around her nearly 1 hour commute to and from UCLA's campus in Westwood and her family home in the San Fernando Valley. During her first year, she would race home after the last class of the day around noon for going clubs and social events, typically hosted in the evening so she could beat traffic and get home in 30 minutes rather than an hour or more. Uh, this year, she's trying a different strategy: stay at school until 7:30 p.m. to attend office hours and club meetings, and sometimes even later to participate in extramural or intramural soccer games. But the 10-hour plus school day takes a toll on her, she said. I'm just sacrificing so much energy, she said. Making the drive home at night when you're tired is in and of itself exhausting, coupled in with being on campus all day to attend classes and clubs. It's a lot. To alleviate stresses on student commuters who, unlike campus resident students, have no place to settle down and can feel isolated, UCLA is creating Brunn hubs where they can rest, study before and after class. The hubs are complete with napping pods, study tables, charging stations, snacks, a microwave, a refrigerator to store meals for their long day on campus. We're turning schools into preschools, aren't we? I mean, do they think that no one has commuted before them? I mean, I get it. It's no fun to have to commute, but these are these are there's gonna be someone conceived in one of those little nap hubs. I just know there is. What'd you name him? Well, Hub? Hubert. Quote, naturally disadvantaged academically by their commute, they don't have enough time in their days to sleep, study, or get together with their study groups. Dana Cuff, a professor of architecture and urban design at UCLA, said at a recent UC Regents meeting, the need is great. Nearly half of UCLA's undergraduate students and the majority of its graduate students live off campus, and 43% of those commute more than an hour each way, Cuff said. The push to expand commuter hubs comes as UCLA students, staff, and faculty face the lack of affordable housing near campus, said Monroe Gordon, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs. Fourth year student Darlene Luna Barahona lives in Santa Clara. She hits the freeway around 7 a.m. to brave her hour-and-a-half commute to campus. The 21-year-old transferred from the College of the Canyons, a community college in Santa Clarita. I'm sorry, it's Santa Clarita, not Santa Clara. Last year, with a financial aid package that she would rather go to her tuition than university affiliated housing, which can cost more than $1,800 per month. Before starting her part time job at UCLA's Transfer Student Center this year, the Brunn Hub in John Wooden Center was also home to UCLA's main gym, was Barahona's go-to spot after classes to wait out traffic. This is my pod, she laughed, pointed to the pink resting pod in the corner. I would come here a lot and sit, work on homework, and prepare for midterms and finals. The resting pods are carved wood capsules with a small curtain for privacy. Inside the pod, a reading light and outlet allows students to work lying down or sitting up. The colorful furniture and polka dots painted on tall white walls under fluorescent lighting give the playful feel to the hub. Can I just get one of those personal nap time places? Because seriously. Also, this probably smells like corn chips and feet. I'm sorry. I'd need a personal one or I'd need a whole hell of a lot of Lysol. I've done seen college identified by UCLA's Undergraduate Students Association Council as a pressing need, this Brunn Hub opened in fall of 2021 with council funding in an underused racquetball court. It is open from 5:15 a.m. for early commuters to 1 a.m. A second Brunn Hub was repurposed inside a conference room and opened this winter corner in the Strathmore building, which also houses UCLA's Basic Needs Center that provides emergency housing and food for students in need. A shortage of campus study spaces, particularly during finals, and a lack of places where students could prepare food made it difficult for student commuters to get work done, eat, lie down, and recharge phones and laptops. There's a time I didn't bring food at all because I didn't want to spend money on campus, so I would just bring snacks because I knew I needed to eat and didn't want to carry my lunch with me the whole day, Barahona said of her time before she discovered the Brunn Hubs. Dominique Penate, program coordinator for the commuter support and programs, knows the struggles of student commuters all too well, having commuted from Southgate before graduating from UCLA in 2022. Some students stack their classes and try to only come in twice a week to save on gas and parking. I used to do the same, she said. I mean, again, it's not like this has not been something that people have done and you just kind of it's a suck part of life, but you deal with it. I mean, the amount of cry rooms we're gonna have to have in the Senate, good lord. Um, I have no idea, Jess. I think they're just gonna be really confused. It is just insanity. I don't get it. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sure that they feel like these are very big problems to them, but no, not right now. In a case I kind of wanna follow because this looks really interesting, but it does involve a young one, so who knows? I'm the reason 13-year-old girl blurts out that she feels, quote, "regret, guilt, and self-disgust" after mom who took her phone is stabbed to death at home. Well, by her or by someone else? A 13-year-old girl in Pennsylvania allegedly stabbed her mother to not being alive anymore in the middle of the day last Friday, then told a news reporter on scene that she felt regret, guilt, and self disgust as she was led into a police van in handcuffs. The suspect, identified publicly as Lataya Powell, since she was charged as an adult with criminal homicide and other offenses, stands accused of, well, helping shuffle her 44-year-old mother off her mortal coil. Tamika Tucker in the torso and head area and wounding an 11-year-old boy at their Wilkes Barre home or Barre. Look, I don't know words. The Wilkes-Barre Police Department said they responded to the scene just after 12:30 p.m. on Good Friday and found Powell's mother non-responsive at the South Sherman Street residence. The initial investigation determined that a 44-year-old victim was suffering from apparent wounds to the torso and head area and was non-responsive. A second victim and the suspect were also located at the scene. Bar. Thank you. I thought it was Wilkes Barre, but then I thought they always add that E, and I'm gonna have that one I'm gonna say bar, and someone's gonna be like, "There's an E there, it's beret," without the T. The 11-year-old, boy who survived the stabbing attack was reportedly found wounded on a couch inside the home. The suspect, on the other hand, was allegedly found sitting on a bedroom floor with blood on her hands. According to WBREWUOY no, YOU, police alleged in the affidavit that Powell acknowledged the victim, quote, unquote, "took her phone" before they had an argument that turned deadly. "I don't have my phone because my mom took it before our fight, and I don't know how people can do stuff like this and not feel bad about it," the 13-year-old allegedly said at the scene. She's reportedly also accused of saying, "I'm the reason my mom is dead, and I killed my mom. She'll never forgive me if she's alive." It does seem I do hope that, first off, that she gets a lawyer, and second of all, they do a good bit of mental health area. Oh, thank you. But this seems to be something was very wrong in the house. Local news affiliates were rolling too when Powell was taken into custody. Reporter Gianna Gali held up a microphone and asked the suspect directly, "Any emotion at all?" "Regret, guilt, and self disgust," Powell could be heard saying. The juvenile defendant facing a homicide charge as an adult will also have to fight aggravated assault and evidence tampering accounts. The evidence tampering charge appears to stem from Powell's alleged admission of tossing the knife used in the slaying in the front of a neighboring residence. I mean, it's very sad. I do hope that they can kind of figure out. I mean, if this was only for a phone, then my goodness, but I would think that they wouldn't let reporters close to her regardless of if she was being charged as an adult, because I would assume she was still considered a a minor for all intents and purposes other than, you know, being charged as an adult. But I do hope that that they get to the bottom of this because if it was for a phone, what a dumb, dumb reason to do anything. I have no words. But it is a case to watch because I do wonder if they are going to receive intense backlash if there was a history of mental health issues or abuse in the home for charging a 13-year-old girl as an adult. So I do wonder if that's going to happen or if I know she is being charged as an adult, but I do wonder if they're going to get pushback from that. In happier news, Tennessee teens who were in the NICU at the same time as infants attend the prom together years later. Two Tennessee teens who once spent critical days together in a NICU in a hospital NICU enjoyed a fairy tale ending when they attended a high school prom after staying in touch for 17 years. Now, honestly, I think the moms probably stayed in touch more than these 2 kids who look about, well, to be very younglings here. It just brings you joy, Jamie Horton, neonatal intensive care unit nurse manager at HCA Health Stars or Healthcare's TriStar Centennial Medical Center in Nashville told Fox News Digital. There's not always a happy ending in the NICU, Hortons added, but these moments are why we do what we do. Our goal is to give these families that outcome. When we can succeed at that and see babies just thriving and running around and jumping in bounce houses and going to prom together, it's why you do what you do. Tatum Kelly, 17, of Pulaski, Tennessee, and Leighton Long, 17, of Knoxville, Tennessee, first quote unquote met when they were in TriStar Centennial's NICU in August 2005. Leighton was born at 28 weeks, weighing 2 pounds 10 ounces, and Tatum was born at 24 weeks and weighed 1 pound 7 ounces. Horton, who has been with the hospital for 23 years, was a bedside nurse at the time and remembers caring for Tatum Kelly, she said. Quote, she was just a super sick little girl, Horton said. She was really tiny for her age, a little over a pound, and her mom was still pretty sick. So I met Jeremy, Tatum's dad, and I took care of Tatum that day. I know that she kept me very busy. She was definitely one of the sicker ones. Tatum Kelly's mother, Laura Kelly, had been experiencing complications with her pregnancy, and as a result, little Tatum was born 16 weeks early. Her first week of life, she was on a ventilator, Kelly told Fox News Digital. This ventilator just gives them a little puff of air, but they're like little puffs. It's not a continuous airflow. So you kind of hear like this tss, tss, tss sound and it kind of shakes them. It just looks so alien. It shakes their body. They're just constantly quivering. So imagine something so tiny you can see through their skin just shaking the whole time. She added, that first week it was touch and go with a NICU baby. It's always one step forward and two steps back. You never know what they're going to do. Tatum Kelly was on a ventilator for a week, then she turned a corner, her mother remembered. Just 2 beds down in the NICU, Leighton Long was fighting his own battle as was his mother, Lori, who had also had pregnancy complications. Her baby had arrived 12 weeks early. My husband Brian and I had been married for close to 15 years, and we'd been told we couldn't have any children, Lori Long told Fox News Digital. It had been a long journey. When I found out I was expecting Leighton, you could imagine the overwhelming joy, but I was just really sick, and I was so concerned about them taking him early and that he wasn't going to make it. We really have been through so much to try to have a baby. Having a child in the NICU is a very scary time, Horton said. I think for a lot of us mothers, you grow up and think about being a mom and what that's going to be like and what you're going to name your babies, she noted. And you never picture this. You never picture or having a baby, it being rushed away from you to another unit, and then it's hooked up to monitors, all these noises and sounds going on. It's definitely extremely traumatic for the parents coming through here. Long sa She said she can remember the first time she saw her newborn baby, and she was brought to tears. I said, "God, he's all yours." Long recalled, "He grabbed my little finger, but it was just overwhelming because they're on all these tubes and all these medical devices, and you don't know if they're really going to make it or not." In their despair, Kelly and Long found each other, the woman said. "Lori was one of the first people I met in the NICU," said Laura Kelly. "I can't remember if we were hand washing or if it was just because they were 2 beds down, but we just formed that connection. We're both very spiritual, and we both had a very strong faith in God, and I guess God just kind of placed us together. He knew we needed each other in that moment." Long said she believed God brought her and Kelly to one another so they could comfort each other, especially during their day long NICU visits over the next 2 months. "We gave each other gifts and prayed a lot together. We shared a lot of ups and downs together," Long said. "It might be a rough day, uh, one day with your baby, so you rely on each other. She gave me so much hope because we were going through the same thing." Horton said the open NICU concept, in which there are no individual rooms, allows for parents to bond over their shared experience. They get to talk to each other and share how much weight their babies gained and really support each other through something that only someone who's been through it can understand, she explained. After 2 months, Leighton was weighing in at 6 pounds and strong enough to go home, but Long said leaving the hospital was bittersweet. We bonded so we bonded up so close during that time, Long said. Leighton got to check out, but we had to leave Tatum and Jeremy and Laura there because Tatum still needed another week or so to get stronger. Tatum Kelly wasn't far behind and able to go home shortly after Leighton Long did, and the Kelly and Long families stayed in touch from then on. "We talked on the phone," Kelly said. "We actually mailed each other letters and cards with pictures in it and updates. We met at holidays. We did our first birthday parties together. We went to Knoxville for Layton's, and they came here for ours." If either family was traveling near the other's home, they made time for a visit at least once or twice a year, Kelly said. "I think my first memories are from around the age of 5, hanging out with him," Tatum Kelly said. "I remember visiting their house. They lived right next to a river or lake with ducks, and we used to feed the ducks." Leighton Long says he still has a stuffed camel he got during an outing at the Knoxville Zoo with his pal. While their mothers started a friendship, as the two children grew older, they stayed in touch on their own, even though everyone's lives had become busy and they didn't get together as often. "When I was 12 or 13, I got a flip phone," Leighton Long said. "Compared to what we have now, it's kind of difficult to text, but she would text me, and she would be like the only person to text me when I had a flip phone." For the past 2 years, Tatum Kelly has attended a conference in Knoxville, so they reunited in person. "We're just really good friends," Tatum Kelly said, "so I asked him to come to my prom, and they went in style." Leighton Long showed up in a limo dressed to the nines, while Tatum Kelly wore a full length blue gown with a crystal studded belt. Before the dance, they were announced on the steps of the courthouse, a Pulaski tradition, and after they went to a bowling party. "We had a great time," Leighton Long said. Tatum Kelly is headed for the University of Alabama in Huntsville this fall, while Leighton Long has 1 year of high school left. For his 18th birthday, Long is planning to go skydiving and has asked his good friend to join him. She agreed to be his support system, but did not commit to jumping, she said. Supporting each other is one of the things these families said they have learned is most important in life. It's such a beautiful thing when the most horrible moment of your life, God brings hope through somebody else, Laura Kelly said. So there you go. Isn't that so sweet? I love it. That was our ending story because we have to end with something at least a little positive, or honest to goodness, we'd probably just all run away and join the circus. I personally would work with those flaming hula hoops. Probably not a great idea, but I can't do the tightrope. But I'm glad that these moms stayed in touch. I will say to any, new moms out there, if your kiddo was in the NICU, it is such a stressful time, but, you'll get through it, and look at these kiddos. They're all grown up and spending way too much money on the prom. And I love how look how sassy this mom is here. She even stole my hat. I can't believe that. Now, I believe I have you guys set up to go to Shizzy, or I probably don't. I have to go, take care of boy children and make sure they are actually showering using water and soap, so I will probably not be joining Shizzy tonight, even though I love the, Edgecombe trial. If you have not seen the theater Edgecombe trial, it is like all the trials we cover, a not so great violent act happened, but the judge has is at, Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon 17, Why the Hell is Chris Rock in My Movie levels done with things. Now I measure, doneness with life in Danny Glover units, and it starts out at, Predator 2 sweaty Danny Glover levels, and it ends at Lethal Weapon 5000, Why is Chris Rock in My Movie? So, Judge Borowski is at level number all of it. will leave you with that. Have a wonderful evening with Shizzy. I am going to go make sure that boys actually use soap and water, possibly. Pray for me now and at the hour of my interface. I'll see you guys. I probably will not see you guys in the morning, but I will do a Newsy News Nooner because I get to go talk to someone about my feelings tomorrow. And after the day I've had today, I don't know that anyone wants to know. Just kidding. Doctors not listening is fun. I will see you guys later. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.